What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Season 2, Episode 3 of The Bigger Picture. We are joined by a very special guest, my cousin, Anthony Manzo, a.k.a.
We had no choice.
Smoke MMA.
Smoke
How you
MMA.
doing, Nino? How you doing? Hey,
Bravo.
Thanks
bravo.
for being here. He's a good guy.
He's a good kid, huh? What do you know about him? Today we're interviewing my cousin. He does YouTube videos. I could let you talk a little bit more about yourself. You want to tell the camera basically what you do on YouTube?
Get in contact with UFC fighters and boxers, and I just interview them. Talk to them about what they do, their mentality behind it, all that type of stuff.
Yeah, basically just everything about the fight game, right?
Yeah.
So today we want to bring you on, ask you questions about like just how you do what you do, some experiences you've had through it and whatnot. We'll just shoot the shit, and go from there.
So Nino, how do you even contact these fighters? You kind of create your own luck a little bit when you're just trying to contact everyone?
With the first one, it was all luck because there was nothing out about it, and I was just texting. I think I texted a good 50 or 60 UFC fighters.
Jeez.
And then I just texted them, hey, I want to do an interview about this, and that. And it's like, I didn't say it would be a Zoom call or anything. I was just like, hey, just be a certain amount of questions about these certain topics. And no one responded except Terrence McKinney.
Okay.
He was the first one to respond. I got very lucky with him because he's a bigger name. He's known for having a 7-second knockout in his UFC debut. Multiple, very short amount of time knockouts on his record. He just responded and said, yeah, we can run it whenever. So we scheduled it and everything for it to be a Zoom call. He didn't join it first. Then I hounded him because that's me.
Yeah, that's what you got to do.
But that's important that you do that because with that, when you have that mindset that you want to do something and you got to go for it, then you're going to get what you want at the end of the day.
Well, you got to see a fish bite. It's kind of just like that.
And that's why I have so much respect for you because,
Yeah, no, I didn't get mad or anything when he didn't show up because it was his birthday. I'm like, I'm not gonna,
yeah.
Yeah, and he was busy. Like, he was posting all day, so I was like, all right, it's whatever. So,
But you were on him as the fact of like, hey, can we reschedule? Like,
Yeah.
I'd love to get this interview with you.
yeah.
Like, just persistent.
It wasn't like pushiness. It wasn't like, let's do it now. Come on, where you at? It was, hey, I know right now you're busy. Can we reschedule for tomorrow or a couple days from now? He got back to me a couple hours later. He was like, yeah, sorry, I was just busy with my birthday and everything. And I was like, oh, good, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And we got it done. And then people were telling me that this guy, Sam Alvey, who I've heard of and watched a couple of his fights, Sam Alvey, he likes to respond to fans. So then I texted Sam Alvey on TikTok because that's where he's like very active. Mm-hmm. And he had just posted, so I texted him on there, commented on his thing. He responded. He was like, text me on Instagram. So I did. We got that one all done. Then I started just texting everyone I could think of. Boxers. I would go to like promotional pages, text as many as I could, follow them and text them.
That's
then
awesome,
the UFC, go down the list, and now where I'm at, I got like 4 or 5 filmed, and 3 more coming up.
Yeah, it's literally just creating your own luck, kind of just putting yourself out there. That's what you got to do in order to just get more connections. But, dude, seriously, I'd be shitting my pants talking to these fighters. I don't know how you prepare for these interviews.
Some of these guys you're interviewing have like big followings and are literally professional fighters, like of the highest level in martial arts, and it's just like I don't know. Yeah, so talk about the thought process. What goes into it before interviewing these guys? Has it gotten easier for you? Are you still nervous? Explain a little bit about that.
See, it's gotten a little harder now because so I got started out with a very big name in Terrence McKinney, who has still right now posted interviews the highest following. I just did one today with Chris Matino.
Congratulations on that, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, no, who you guys may know from fighting Sean O'Malley on 264.
It's a crazy fight.
Yeah, so I just got done interviewing him. So it gets very hard, no matter who it is. If they have like 50 followers, if they have 1 million followers, no matter who it is, I always get really nervous for it. But the preparation of getting the questions done and doing research on them, like I do a lot of research. I read as many articles as I can find. I go through their.
I was going to ask you that, yeah.
Like if they're a boxer, I go through their box rec, which is like shows the record, who they fought and when they fought. If they're just anyone, I just Google who they are and like I'll read as many articles as I can on them, and I'll come up with around like 10 or so questions, and then talk about their weight classes, about whoever they go against, and it never gets any easier because no matter who it is, there's always that risk of what if I say the wrong thing that sets them off? What if I mess up? What if I stutter?
Yeah.
What if I do all these things wrong?
And I feel like, especially me and you were so close, we always talk throughout the entire thing, and like we talk it out together. You're like, dude, I'm nervous, or what if I do this, what if that? And I always tell you the same thing, right? Like, you can't control, what happened. You can't control what they perceive you as, but you are who you are, and to own that at the end of the day, because that's all you can do,
Yeah.
And I mean, you're a very likable kid, so like I don't see why you would ever take off a fighter. If they ever got mad at something you said or did, that's really probably their problem, because you're a respectful person. You respect everyone, all kinds of walks of life, just like us, and it's like having that's a very good thing to have, and when it comes to personality trait, being able to get along with.
They're just human beings at the end of the day. They're just normal people, man. But who was the most interesting fighter that you've ever interviewed? I know there's probably a lot.
That's a really tough one.
Because they all have their own different backstories, and they've dealt through different things of like why they do what they do.
See, I can't say one was more.
Yeah.
I can't say who was like more interesting, but right now, like the person who had the biggest backstory that stuck out to me the most was Terrence McKinney.
Want to talk about his backstory a little bit?
Yeah. So being as like respectful as possible, like he was a kid like us, and he was very he liked to party a lot, is what he was telling me. He liked to party a lot. He started doing drugs. He was drinking a lot, and he basically died twice and got resuscitated back to life, and then got into fighting. Like he's always been a good wrestler. He was like a D1 college wrestler, I'm pretty sure, and or not D1. I don't think he was All-American, but he was a very high college wrestler and a high school wrestler. But he was partying one night and he jumped out a window because he was like drunk and high and stuff. So like he was on a bunch of stuff. He jumped out the window. And he was like on the ground where like cops had to like tase him to like restrain him because he was like going crazy. And then like his heartbeat like went to 0 in like the ambulance on the way to the hospital. So they had to resuscitate him. That happened twice to him. Then like he said after that night he like didn't want to do it ever again. Like he wanted to change his life. So he did. And now look at him. He's like 11-3, I'm pretty sure.
It gives me goosebumps, dude, because it's crazy. Like when you go through something like that in your life, something so like traumatic, you can have such a different outlook on things afterwards, and it pushed them in such an amazing direction. So
it kind of inspires
It's inspiring.
people.
It honestly is
It's
a very
awesome.
inspiring story.
Yeah, because I mean, how they just deal through, how they turn that adversity into something new is probably the most beautiful thing ever. But I mean, I was gonna ask you, a lot of these fighters inspire you with just their backstories of like the work, like what's their daily like workload, like how much do they train before a fight?
So today, Chris Matino, he really went into how he trains. So previous to the UFC, he would train like 80 hours. He would work 80 hours a week,
Right.
and he would like train whenever he could. He quit his job and now he starts training 3 to 4 times a day for a fight, because that's like the most important thing that's coming up. Every fighter says that on the on Smoke on May. Whenever I interview them, they always bring up that they train as much as possible to be more ready than their opponent, because they don't want to give their opponent any advantages. What I've heard, like the consensus is like 3 to 4 times a day, and even when they're not fighting or if they don't have a fight schedule, they're always still training to stay in shape, because you never know when you're going to get a call like on short notice, like, hey, can you fight in 2 weeks? Hey, can you fight tomorrow? They never know.
Yeah,
So.
Terrence McKinney with his short notice, his short notice debut to the UFC, right? Wasn't it like on 2 weeks?
It was 8 days, I'm pretty sure.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And I think it was
Imagine,
not only
like,
8 days, but it was 8 days after his last fight.
Yeah.
So he was like still in
Oh, I
shape.
didn't know that. It was 8 days after his last fight?
I think so, yeah.
Oh my. Dude,
So his
that's
body was
nuts.
probably all shot. And
You get a call from the UFC, like you're going, like you're fighting.
Yeah.
Like,
especially for your debut.
Yeah,
say-
Jason Witt, Jason Witt, he's another guy I interviewed. He didn't actually have a fight scheduled when he flew out to Vegas. He flew out to Vegas on the hope of getting a fight.
Yeah.
And then he got the fight. And then he had to cut like 20 pounds, or like he had to cut a large amount of weight very fast. So it like drained him a little, so he didn't perform as well. But he like flew out on the chance of getting a fight.
Oh,
That's
okay.
absurd.
But would you say it's a lot more mental? Like just being a fighter, like it's probably a lot more mental, dealing with like the crowd, dealing with the audience, dealing with the fighter, to kind of willing to adjust your. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's
I
crazy.
mean, everyone says the fight game is definitely all mental. Like, I don't know that from experience. I know that from just like every fighter I've ever talked to, pro, amateur, or heard on the internet or whatever, has said this sport's 90% mental. Yeah, always 90. Like,
Yeah, I mean, you gotta get in there like aggressive, but be calm at the same time. I bet you
Yeah.
can't be like too. Your adrenaline's pumping, but you need to like be able to like balance that out just with like everything else. And I learned that from just performing with sports in general. You can't be too excited. You just gotta be mellow. You gotta be humble. You gotta just be concentrated.
Yeah, and obviously with that, MMA training, you're gonna get like more physically tough, but it's more about your heart and that toughness and
Yeah.
building
Your
there, you
dedication.
know.
Mhm.
And like, I bet you know that you both know that well, you know, being there and fighting and training like that.
Yeah.
Another question I have for you: what when you envision your channel, your future? Because I know you're very, very, very passionate about martial arts in general and what you do, and just interviewing and researching fighters and all this stuff. Where do you see yourself in 10, 15 years? What are some goals you set up for yourself of where you want to take this channel or your own martial arts journey? Where do you want to take it?
It's a good question. Right now, I'm not really thinking that far into the future. Right now,
That's
I'm thinking
awesome.
of who can I get tomorrow? Who can I schedule an interview with for like a week from today? But in the end, like, my goal right now is to get to those like top 5 contenders of any weight class, to like get their views on it, to like get the interviews with the Michael Chandlers, the Justin Gaethjes,
The big fighters of the divisions,
Yeah.
yeah. So really, I mean, and that could be, that's a short-term goal technically, is like you want to keep working your way up, getting better and better and better fighters, or just bigger names.
Yeah.
It's not even necessarily about bigger names, but being better comes with the bigger name for the most part. It depends.
You gotta think of the present. You just gotta keep concentrating and keep flowing, and whoever just fights. Who even got you into this? Who's your inspiration that got you into this passion of yours, this interest? Because it's awesome.
Louis did, honestly.
You're good for something.
You inspire me.
Shut up!
That's good, though.
bro.
That's
So
good.
Louis got me both in, whether he knows it or not. He's the one who started my first interview, because we were together streaming one of the fights, or not even one of the fights. We were not streaming the fights, but like streaming our reaction. I think it was Dustin versus.
Oh, we
Dan
were
Hooker.
doing the TikTok stream.
But no, it was.
Wait.
We did a TikTok stream, and you were talking to some chick on a TikTok stream. Like, remember you got like all.
You guys are bowling, right? You guys are bowling and
No,
doing
no,
this
that
shit?
wasn't our first time.
Like, we were just upstairs.
Was this the time you slept in my house and we made pancakes and shit?
No, it was one that you definitely forgot about, because it was like a 30-minute one where you were talking to this chick about like her brother in college or something. It was. Really
Oh,
simple.
I remember.
And I was like, "Hey Lou, I'm gonna text Michael Chandler. Let's see if I can interview him." And you were like, "I don't even know what the hell you're talking about." You just looked
Yeah.
at me so confused. So I texted him, right, and then I put my phone away. The next day I checked. He opened the message, but did not respond. So I was like, "All right, that sucks. Oh well." Then I got really embarrassed and deleted the message. But like, that's beyond the point. But yeah. So after that, I was like, "Shit, I want to get this interview with Michael Chandler. I'm not just gonna get it right away." So I started texting everyone.
And I told you work your way up.
And you
Start
told
with
me
smaller.
what-
Start with guys at the gym that I go
That's
to
awesome.
or here or there. Yeah, dude. Well,
Very
I mean,
good.
It's a good
And look,
story.
look now where he's at, you know?
yeah.
You're,
but,
in the
like,
bigger picture podcast.
And
But
no, but
I
he's
can't
young and he's
believe
got
it.
his own thing that he's doing.
He's got his own thing and
making these
and
connections.
you
all
know,
this stuff.
I'm like, it feels nice knowing that maybe I put you told you the way to go, but you did it yourself the
Right,
whole entire
yeah,
way
right.
along. That was all you, and that's why I brag about you to everyone. I'm like, because for your age, you're so ahead of the game and so much more mature and understanding of how things work than most kids around your age. Like your priorities are so in the right place.
I tell
and
everyone
I
you're my
always
nephew.
always vouch for you in that sense.
But
Yeah.
dude, that's awesome because you're young, dude. I wished I was like you. I actually look up to you, and I
told you, I'm
it's
telling you,
awesome,
look
dude.
up
Like
to you.
literally, I talk about you to a lot of people since literally
I do.
so many. There's so many. You're just so different from a lot of people, and that's awesome. You're concentrating on yourself. You're concentrating on what you want to do, and you're just clear mind, calm water, right? I don't know. It's a saying. It's a saying. It's a saying.
Well, you think I'm the same?
I'm
guy?
trying-
You
I'm
think
trying-
the-
I'm trying to, like-
Am I the?
I'm trying to like
You are
Master
the same
Miyagi
guy.
a little
I am,
bit
I
when
am.
we're talking
He's the
about
quote
martial
guy.
arts.
He's always got a
You
quote.
know?
He's like,
I got
yeah.
a quote. Mr. Miyagi, Karate Kid. Calm
Who's
water,
the guy
calm
like?
mind.
All right, thanks guys for watching now.
Wax on, wax off.
He's
Yeah.
like the guy to pull out his phone and be like scroll through a list and be like, "All right, this one fits the situation."
I'm a quote guy. I am a quote.
But dude, talk about wrestling. You're really big at wrestling. You're really big in
yeah,
fighting.
you're wrestling. Yeah, talk a little about that.
Just talk about yourself. You're interesting.
So wrestling's been going well. I was out for the first couple weeks because I did get COVID like very early into the season. But yeah, no, I'm back in. Then I had skin disease, which sucked. I got skin disease while
the
not even
worst.
wrestling, but whatever. So I was out for a few weeks. Right now I'm back in. It's not going too well. It's my second year wrestling though. I'm 3-3. Just got 6th place at the tournament the other day.
Congratulations.
And I got a funny story about that one actually. I went against a guy who was like 6 foot something, 120 or 126. So I keep doing that.
You're Italian. You talk with their hands. I always hit that all the time. I always talk with my hands too much.
No, so I snapped the guy down, but I didn't like snap correctly, so my legs were right there. I snap him right into my leg. He gets a high crotch, picks me up above his head. This dude's like 6 foot. I'm literally above the ground, both feet off. I'm looking down like, where the hell am I? And boom, he gets slammed right down to the mat.
It's your first time being slammed, yeah.
No, it's not my first time being slammed. It's my first time getting that high up.
Yeah.
Well, when the dude 6'6", puts you up and over, yeah.
Yeah, no, and my dad, he goes, I'm never worried when you're wrestling. It's wrestling. You're going to get hurt. That worried me, though.
Oh, yeah.
So,
but
yeah.
are you trying to like carry on wrestling, or do you actually want to start training to be one of these guys that you interview?
Martial arts.
Boxing.
What's
So,
the plan with that?
right now, I like wrestling, and I'm going to stick with it for all 4 years of high school and then see what happens with that.
Okay.
But in the off season, I really want to train to be boxing. I want to start my amateur boxing career by the start of the next wrestling season, or at least have been started. Because my goal it never was to be like a wrestler, an MMA fighter. I've always wanted to be a boxer for the past like 3-4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't really done anything with it though. So this year, my goal is to like wrestle during the wrestling season and box in the off season.
Nice.
Well, because wrestling was never really in the options for you. I remember because I was trying to get right.
No, I always wanted to do wrestling, but then remember last year I was gonna do.
Well,
it,
yeah,
then I
you
was
had
like,
other things,
I got
you had
other
other
things
classes
to do.
and things you had going on that you couldn't do it. But I was like, I was telling you, I was like,
You
should
were like,
wrestle
you said just go, and then if you can't go to any other practices, that's fine. At least go to the first one.
and just see how you feel about it and see if you can make it work. And you made it work.
I made
you know?
it work, yeah. Had a
And
good
I
season.
but the main goal, I mean, I don't know if this is the same anymore. Maybe you found a new love. Maybe you found your own love for wrestling. But how I remember it from the beginning, because when we were talking about this whole thing, wrestling was supposed to set you up for boxing in the
Yes.
future, right? Was that the toughness
still
aspect?
is,
the
yeah.
mental- Okay, I was making sure that that's the same thing. The reason why you started. Now you could still love wrestling and take it so far, but boxing is your passion at the end of the day, or maybe it's MMA.
Do you only do wrestling, or what else do you do?
Right now, I'm just investing in wrestling because with wrestling and then like getting these interviews now, I don't have really much time for.
I was
anything
talking about
else.
like sport wise. Is like wrestling the only thing that you do?
Yeah, because it's
Okay.
the only thing I have time for with everything else.
Yeah.
Nice, yeah. Okay, nice, dude. You got a good head on your shoulder. I wish I
Yeah.
was as invested in, wanting, because a long time ago I was just baseball. That was like only me. But now I like create. I figured out that I love creating. I love making just new products and new stuff and just creating stuff like this and having and showing our viewers role models like you, so they can learn from you guys, so they can be inspired. It's awesome, bro. I'm really proud of you.
Thank
And
you.
it's great, dude. I'm glad you put a hat on. You,
Yeah, your hair was.
I was gonna
You're
fix
baking
it.
dude's
I was
hair.
gonna fix your hair mid podcast. I was gonna get one of Luigi's hair gels.
He did it
and just-
again. He's talking about hair.
I know.
I
You
did
can't
talk-
help
I-
it.
dude.
You can't
I
help
love hair, man.
Santino the hair guy.
I'm gonna be a hairstylist pretty soon.
One of these days, you're gonna be interviewing someone. You're just gonna get up and like thw the coat on them and just start giving them a haircut.
Give him a cut.
Jesus, man. Jeez.
Yeah, but continue to take it day by day. Like you
Yeah.
said, you're not looking too far into the.
Yeah,
long
you don't
term.
wanna-
Which
yeah.
you can't. You
Stress
can't
on
control that. You never know where you're gonna be in a year. But
And it's important, and it's honestly why you're finding so much success in a short amount of time is because you're setting you're setting up so many amazing short-term goals that you're like, okay, this is the next thing I'll do. Then the thing after
yeah,
that,
you're making
which
these
is-
initiatives,
and you're doing
They're
them,
huge.
and you're getting them done. And you're working towards them. When things don't go your way, you bounce back, but you have backup options, and you keep go. Oh, this guy didn't show up to the episode. Okay, I have this guy lined up for tomorrow, and then just truly like grinding, and that's why we have so much respect for you. But when and I think that's so good, but I also think there's a sense of it's important to have the future goals to more manifest them, not to start working and start working towards them slowly. Slowly start working towards how am I gonna literally meet with Conor McGregor or Michael Chandler or Dustin Poirier one day, or get
think
them on
about
Smoke
that. Just
MMA.
think about that.
Think
about
about
that.
If you manifest that and tell yourself that's
It's
gonna
gonna
happen one
happen.
day, it's gonna help you take the steps you need to take to get there.
Especially
dude,
since
So
you're
that's
doing
my
it so
advice for
young.
you is
Yeah.
that don't change anything about your short-term goals, but definitely set some longer-term ones
No, and
because
dude,
you
also-
love this and you're in it for the long run.
And also, too, man, like, think about this. I just thought about the scenario. What if one of them just happened to take you under their wing? Because you're a young kid that loves boxing. What if they're just like, yo, we love you. We like you, kid. Join us. That's all it takes, man. Being good character, being a good role model, they're going to love that. They're going to love taking a young kid like you to train and do whatever. You never know.
Something like that happened the other day.
And what I say to you, go ahead.
So Giovanni Estella, he just fought on the Jake Paul undercard.
Giovanni. Sorry.
And He was my most fun interview because he was like the most willing. Like he really looked. He even said it. He wanted to be there and he liked being there. He said that he liked it so much. You can even go check it out in the episode. He said at the end, like, this was such a fun interview. I want to do another one. God willing, my fight goes good. I want to do another one. And his fight went well. He won by decision. I think unanimous, 40-36 on all the cards. He like was beating up this dude. And then he did a live stream after, and I joined in. I was like, hey, congratulations. Like, yo, we got to run another interview. That was so fun. Now I got this fight done. We got something to talk about.
Dude, that's awesome.
How good does it
man.
feel that
That's
that
awesome.
professional boxer who has made it so far in his career sees you and probably sees a part of himself? Like,
Yeah.
oh, I was once that kid who just had a dream or was passionate about something, you know? That's why I told you, keep doing what you're doing, because there could be huge opportunities that come out of this industry if you stick around and keep, meeting all these walks of life.
Plus, you're making a
So-
relationship with the guy now.
Yes,
now
exactly.
that's that personal one-on-one.
That's why we do all this. That's
It's
why
not
we do
just
what
a
we do,
guest
what we
you
do,
had,
yeah.
which
And
is
that
huge.
guy, he
that's
was-
where it changes.
That guy, he was funny. After the interview, like, he stuck around because it was a Zoom call. So, like, I finished recording the Zoom and I, like, hit end. And he goes, man, my mom is right here in the room with me. And, like, his little mom walked up and she's, like, a lot shorter than him. So he had, like, lower the
That was so
camera.
cute when he told me that.
And his mom was like, you did very good. You very impressed me.
Good.
And I was like, thank you. And she's like, you know a lot about boxing. I was like, thank you.
Dude, that's awesome.
That
Good.
warms my heart, bro. It's like, because
Good.
they're just normal people at the end of the day, you know?
Dude, everyone, yeah, because I kind of forget sometimes when it's like with celebrities, with athletes, that everyone puts on the same pair of pants every single day. Everyone
We're all
wakes
the
up.
same.
Everyone puts on their shoes, everything, man. We're all normal. We're all human beings.
Amen.
We just, what separates others from other people is just
Like
a
me
work
insecure
ethic,
about
man.
their hair, like me.
And that's where we gotta give you a hand too, because you got these guests going on your podcast, and usually someone young, they're gonna let that get to their head. They're gonna walk around school differently, think they're the shit, and it's nothing special. You're just doing what you're doing. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude.
That was a big thing
I
I
commend
told
you for that.
Because I remember, I've told you this before. When I was in high school, you're probably wondering over here, why do all these older kids look up to me or see something? Well,
Yeah.
I've told you before. When I was 15 years old, I didn't have the balls, the courage to do what you do. I was afraid of judgment. I was afraid of what people would think of me. And the fact that you don't, and you stay in your lane, and you stay looking straight, driving forward, and nothing around you affects you, I am so just so impressed.
You're
by
already
that.
ahead of the
So
game. You're
impressed by
already-
that. You're so ahead of the game. You're so locked in. You don't give a fuck what anyone else thinks.
Whoa.
You don't give a frick.
I'm sorry.
Frick.
Swear words are good for passion.
Yeah,
Well,
no
it makes it
language.
authentic. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying though? So
Watch the
don't
language.
don't change. Don't change.
Don't change, Nino. Don't change ever.
We're coming short on time here. Neen.
Nino, thank you.
Thank you
Thank
again
you,
for
man.
having me.
You killed that. Seriously.
Guys,
Wonderful.
this kid's no joke. It's my favorite cousin. He's up there with the favorite cousins. Make sure to go subscribe to his channel, Smoke MMA. Link will be in description. I'm gonna tag his Instagram, everything. You better go find him. You better go watch his videos. You better go like, subscribe,
Figure
all
it
that
out.
stuff. Do you want to say anything before you go?
Go follow Giovanni Estella. He's one of my favorite interview guests. He was the nicest, and he's early in his career. Follow him before he gets big, so then you can say you knew him.
There you
you
go.
There we go.
This is the bigger
Nino said
picture.
it best.
Signing off. Thank you guys. Good job, man.